Hi, my name is Megan Martinez, and I'm currently enrolled in SPCE 630, Section 814 with Professor Carrasquillo. Today is November 2nd, 2025. I'm going to begin by shuffling my deck of cards 3 times and splitting it down the middle. So, 1, 2, and 3, split down the middle. I'm going to be holding the cards so the definitions facing me, terms facing the camera. I have a 1-minute timer set on my phone, and I'll get started right now. Time sampling procedure, record behavior if it occurs at the moment the interval ends. Momentary time sampling. Time elapsed from the end of the previous response and the beginning of the next response. Inter-response time. Time sampling procedure, record occurrence if target behavior occurs for the entire duration of the interval. Whole interval recording. Time sampling procedure, record occurrence if target behavior occurs at any point during the interval. Partial interval recording. Changes in data that result from the novel environmental conditions associated with the onset of data collection. Adaptation. Number of responses per unit of time or frequency divided by unit of time rate. Type of single case research design that involves intermittent data collection at specific points in time to assess whether the behavior change is occurring without continuous monitoring, allowing for more flexible and resource efficient analysis. Multiple probe design. Okay, that's my time. I'm going to continue on through the deck. Systematic investigation and manipulation of variables to identify associations and understand process research. Variable that impacts the dependent variable but is not the phenomenon of interest. Confounding variables. Type of single case research design with repeated introduction and removal of the independent variable within a participant and target behavior. Withdrawal design. Type of instability in the data that represents a repeated pattern of data variability across time. Cyclical variability. Quantifiable and observable events that are compared with known facts to form hypotheses. Description. How much a behavior occurred, categorized as low, medium, or high based on value displayed on y-axis. Level. Demonstration of a functional relation through the manipulation of an independent variable while observing changes in the dependent variable. Control. Lasting products of the behavior of interest may be natural or contrived. Permanent products. The slope and direction of the data on a best fit line within the phase. Trend. Variation of momentary time sampling to record the behavior of a group. Count the number of people engaging in behavior at the moment the interval ends. PLA check. The range or the spread of the data within a phase. Variability. Uses a two-dimensional area that is formed by the intersection of two perpendicular lines. Any point on the plane represents a specific relation between the two dimensions represented by the perpendicular lines. Line graph. Phenomenon of interest, aka outcome variable, dependent variable. Extent to which the intervention conditions are implemented as designed. Treatment fidelity. Percentage of data points during the intervention phase that do not overlap with the baseline phase, indicating a change in behavior due to the intervention. A higher P&D suggests a stronger effect. Pass. Captures all occurrences of the behavior of interest during an observation. Continuous measurement. Relationship that exists when the independent variable causes changes in the dependent variable. Evidence of experimental control. Functional relation. Quantitative experimental approach in which participants serve as their own control, uses visual analysis of data. Single case research design. Degree to which an assessment measures what it is supposed to. Validity. Equal distances on the axis represent equal absolute amounts of the variable plotted on the axis. Equal interval graph. Change that occurred and how the dependent variable was recorded. It threatens internal validity. Instrumentation. Research question that evaluates the effectiveness of an independent variable at different levels or amounts. Parametric research question. Two events shown to covary over repeated observations allows for estimations to be made about the future occurrence of those events. Prediction. Research question that analyzes of two or more independent variables that make up a treatment package. No. Pass. Oh, I would have gotten it right. Research question that evaluates which intervention is more effective. Comparison research question. The time between the onset of some environmental event and the target response. Latency. How long a behavior occurs. Duration. Improved functioning as determined by measured improvement in observable behaviors to an amount that is meaningful. Clinical significance. Measurement of the behavior taken before interventions are started. Baseline data. Rapid alternation of an intervention within a participant group that allows for the comparison of the interventions to one another, aka alternating treatment design. I want to say multi-element. I don't know, pass. Multi-element design. Okay, would have gotten that one right. Estimate of the occurrence of behavior within a specific period of time. Discontinuous measurement. Non-experimental research that identifies relationships between variables. Correlational research. The extent to which a prior condition may impact the dependent variable within the current condition. Pass. Single case research design where the criterion for reinforcement or behavior change is gradually altered over time. Changing criterion design. Research question that evaluates whether a particular intervention works or the impact of an intervention. Demonstration research question. The variable that is manipulated by the experimenter in order to determine if changes in the dependent variable will occur. Independent variable? Non-experimental design that includes two phases, A and B. Case study. Degree to which an experiment is conducted effectively or evaluates the effects of the independent variable and not confounding variables. Internal validity. Type of research in which large groups of individuals are assigned to one of two or more study conditions and differences are statistically analyzed. Between group research. Single case research design with sequential introduction of an intervention across multiple behavior settings and individuals. Demonstrate the effect of the intervention by comparing baseline and intervention phases. Multiple baseline design. Some extraneous event that occurred during the study and impacted the dependent variable. History. Magnitude of change in a level between the end of the phase and the beginning of another. Immediacy of effect. Represents the number of trials or opportunities required for some performance criterion to be met. Trials to criterion. Developmental processes within the participant during the course of the study that may account for changes in dependent variable. These developmental processes may be permanent or temporary. Maturation. Two-dimensional graph with a logarithmic scaled y-axis so that equal distances on the vertical axis represent changes in behavior that are of equal proportion. Pass. Demonstrated when the predicted change in the dependent variable occurs when the independent variable is manipulated by the researcher. Basic effect. Graph in which the cumulative number of responses is represented on the vertical axis with a steeper slope being indicative of a higher response rate. Cumulative record. How many times the behavior occurs? Frequency. Degree to which an assessment tool produces consistent measurements. Reliability. The basis for experimental reasoning used within applied behavior analysis, which includes prediction, verification, and replication. Baseline logic. The extent to which the findings of a study can be generalized to other situations, people, etc. External validity. The extent to which the order of conditions may impact the dependent variable. Sequence effects. Amount of data from one phase that overlaps or occurs within the range around the best fit line of the data from another phase. Less overlap is representative of a stronger effect. Overlap. And that's all my cards. Thank you for watching.